All right.
I'm good to
Yeah.
start.
Yeah.
Okay. My name is Hilja. I'm from Namibia. I don't know if you, yeah. I'm a 2017 10 Academy Fellow. Part of that pilot cohort in Ghana that was hosted at Ashesi, sorry. My background is in molecular biology. Yeah. And then, yeah, molecular biology, human genetics, that type of thing. And then at the time, 10 Academy was fairly broad in terms of, it wasn't specifically around like technology and data science and coding and so forth. So we did a bit of coding, we did a bit of like business entrepreneurship stuff, we did a bit of like design thinking. So it was pretty broad. So I was part of that cohort. Um, yeah, so we were 26, I think, from across the continent. And then after 10 Academy, I came back to Namibia because obviously we had just gone there for like, I think it was 2 months. Came back to Namibia. I got a job at the university here. So I've been working here since at the University of Namibia. I teach physiology, which is like the function of the human body. Teach first year medical students. What else is important? Oh, I also run co-run with the team. I'm an NGO, the African Pathfinder Leaders Initiative, APPLY for short. We train young people in skills around entrepreneurship, leadership, and community development. Um, yeah, so yeah, young people generally like fresh out of high school, stuff like that. But fresh out of high school and fresh out of university, same gap really. What else? What else? I guess cool thing that happened immediately after 10 Academy was that when we were doing this like employer acquisition partnership stuff, I was paired to do an internship at Airbus, which is gonna be great. And then I think like at the time I was very like I must go and serve my country. So then and also it was complicated because I just signed a contract I think when I got it, and I was just young and nervous. So turned that down, came back home, worked at the university, been working here for the past 3 years, teaching. I also work with an educational startup. Yeah, just creating animated content for high school learners. And then starting now in September I'm going to do my master's. Um, yeah, my master's in the control of infectious diseases. So that's like public healthish stuff. Yeah, I think that is me. Oh, wait, yeah, in the UK. So I got the Commonwealth Master Scholarship. Don't know if anyone knows about it, but yeah, that is the intro backstory. I don't know if people already have questions, or if someone wants to throw their backstory at me. Thank you for those
Okay, great.
congratulations.
I think we're gonna go this way. So, the scholarship you've had, is it for
Hmm.
this year, or you already took part in the scholarship and you're ending your
No,
academic
it's
year
this
now?
year. Like I started school on Monday. But then because of COVID and visa regulations, I'll only travel. Well, I'm still sorting out my visa, so I'll probably only travel next month, maybe, hopefully next month.
Okay.
So for now, I'm starting remotely.
Which university?
The London School of Hygiene and Tropical Medicine.
Great, congratulations. I
Thank
so I
you.
think this is you've actually shared a diverse um, a diverse kind of perspective about you. Your background is in more like related to medical related, but you still are doing something in tech, right? You started a nonprofit in tech, I suppose. So walk us through, why did you go into medical field?
Um, Backstory is my mom's a nurse, so I was interested in nursing, and then she was like, "No, nurses get overworked." But I didn't want to be a doctor because it just seemed like you're in school for too long. So I decided to be a scientist. So here I am. And then I guess in general, I had an older cousin, an older brother that have always been sort of IT affiliated. Well, one studied IT, the other one just used to like, those people that just open things. Like we had a computer at home and he just opened it and it was just like, but And then we didn't have a computer for a while because it was now all broken because they didn't know how to put it back. So my interest in like technology and stuff came from there. Excuse me. And then yeah, so not so much that I'd like straight up go study computer science, but there was a period in my life where I was like, I'm just gonna be this undergrad programmer. Oh, and 10 Academy obviously helped like in terms of basic code, um, code academy as well. And then I was part of like a coding club here, and we used to do like hackathons and stuff. But it's just, yeah, I realize it's not for me. I see people get frustrated with their code. I'm sure you guys get frustrated with your code. Then I was like, this is great, but yeah, I'm just gonna go do my scientific research. I'll see you guys on the flip side of CSS. Yeah.
Great. So, I mean, now that you're in, what were some of the roadblocks you've had, even as a medical personnel? Or let me use that word loosely because you're in the field. What were some of the challenges you found out during your undergrad, and how were you able to overcome that?
Um. So funding. I studied in. Well, I was thankful. I was blessed to get like a scholarship for my undergrad as well. So I moved to South Africa for my undergrad. And then there's the basic stuff around like adjusting and stuff like that. Um, and then that was fine. Then coming back, and there's still the readjusting because now you've been out of the country for a while. So like you don't know the networks, you don't know the people, like in terms of like trying to find jobs and stuff because other people have maybe done like internships and stuff throughout the degrees. So when I came back, it was like a bunch of like, let me find networks. Let me meet other scientists. Let me find out who are the top employers for scientists in Namibia and how I can like hopefully get into one of them. So even how I ended up at the university was sort of by accident. I We were chilling a session. I think you guys would say we were having a session with some of my friends, and then one mentions, "Oh yeah, they opened a lab at the School of Medicine." And then I was like, oh, okay. And then this is funny because like in the middle of a chill session, like late at night, then I wanna like interrogate them. Who do I contact? Email address? Da, da, da. And they're just like, please like ask me those questions tomorrow. But yeah, so ended up at the university. Like, hi, can I please like volunteer here? And they were like, no, because we're just overwhelmed with volunteering requests. And then I went away for a while. I think I came back in a month. I was like, can I please? Like, I have nothing to do at home, like nothing. And then, yeah, yeah. And then I started volunteering. Then after a couple of months, maybe 4 months, they were like, oh, you look committed. Let's give you a full-time contract. Yeah. So that was obviously a big gap. And then even now, what's a huge challenge for me, I'd say, is figuring out whether I don't know how it is in like you guys' countries, but like here, yeah, but it's assistant lecture, like a junior, don't, yeah, but without masters, yes, because in general, Namibia doesn't have a lot of people that want to work in universities, I think, and we have a skills deficit across the country, so that's the thing. Um, what's been challenging now is figuring out whether this is something I want to do for like the rest of my life. Most likely not, or whether I've like reached the end of like my growth in university and whether I should go into another sphere, stuff like that. Like constantly reassessing to see what you're learning, um, what challenges you're receiving in a specific space, whether you should be there. I talk a lot. Please stop me.
Okay, great. So I think speaking from what you said, you're more versatile. You're still finding your feet. At this point in time, would you say that you're on the verge of making the right career path or choosing the right career for yourself, or you're still discovering yourself? And how relevant was your first inaugural participation in the 10 Academy program? Uh, relevant was it to you? How did it help you to chart your path from then till now?
So general exposure, I think at 10 Academy, because like you're like with a whole bunch of other people, um, different countries, different like experiences that I just was, that emoji where like the head explodes. Yeah, that's the one.
Yeah.
So that, and then also because like Aaron them were very reinforcing of the stereotype that I'm funny. So they were like, "Yeah, Hilya, you should consider a career in comedy." I was like, yeah. And then I almost took it seriously. Like, I almost considered a career in comedy. But then, but then, like, obviously that's like casual stuff. But just even the possibilities, the fact that the internship that Ten Academy connected me to was going to be in business analytics. I never, like, I know my undergrad scholarship was with a investment company, although it funded a scientist. So they made us do like these entrepreneurial activities throughout your degree. So I have entrepreneurial thinking and exposure. So, but then I didn't think it was something I could ever be paid for, since it's just like vague experience or vague knowledge as opposed to like a degree in business analytics or whatever. So that was my first consideration of, oh, actually you're not limited to like what you study for your undergrad. You could just like upskill and do whatever you want. So even now, I know what I'm gonna do for the next 3 years and what I'm gonna do for the next 3 years after that, or like a whole like 30. I think I have a plan until I'm 35. Very flexible, but I've changed it to be sort of what skills I want to be attaining at each stage in my life, and then the organizations where I will attain slash learn those skills. So yeah, I expect my career to change a lot is the thing, but I'm
Yeah.
also comfortable with it.
Yeah. I can
Also,
see, and I'm looking at the fact that you're still uh, young in terms of have a bright mind and you can dabble in many things to choose which path to take. Would you say having a 2 years or a 3 years plan is relevant to you, and how would you want to plan your 2 years plan? Could be career, whatever. How would you like to plan? Have a 2 year plan for yourself?
definitely like, so it's just like a trade off between being flexible in said plan, like in case things like COVID happen, or other things in general. Just things just happen, and then life is just chaotic. But a plan gives you some sort of direction, like and like I feel like you don't waste time. Excuse me. You can do certain things knowing that they're adding on to that 2 year goal, and then like when you get some other random opportunity that looks cool, and everyone's like, "Oh my gosh, I can't believe you got that opportunity," but you know it's not aligned with your plan, and it will just sort of like make you waste time. Then you can be like, "Okay, cool, I'm good." Um, so yeah, I think 2 to 3 years is good. Um, yes. So for instance, part of mine, okay, I've been told I'm too young to work in the government because the bureaucracy and stuff like that will tire me. So I plan to work there for 1 year after my degree. So we'll see how that goes.
Oh,
We'll see if I get a job to start with.
hmm.
Unemployment. But yeah.
Okay. So I would read one or two questions, but I just want you to be focused here so you don't get distracted by the questions. So I would read just with that one question. Do you love teaching? I know your student would really enjoy your lectures, maybe, but do you love teaching?
I do. I do. I always try to, like with my students anyways, because they're first years and they're young and blah blah blah. So I always try and make like examples of stuff they can relate to, like make jokes that they can relate to. Keep class interesting because like lectures are long, an hour, 2 hours sometimes. So yeah, I do try. So it's been really hard with COVID doing the remote lectures because now you crack a joke, but you're cracking it alone to your screen. It's tough.
I'm sure you probably might have heard of the Kenyan comic lady who always wears glasses and eat chips and does some big comics. Have you watched that
Yeah,
video?
yeah, 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 yeah. Yes. Yes. She's cool.
Do you find her jokes interesting and fun?
Of course. Of course. In life, like if you could just like make jokes at the camera and then get paid for it, like like I think she got like 20 shades the other day. I'm just like, in life. See, maybe I should have considered Aaron's proposition to become a comedian. Like by now I could be ranking in like raking in the deals and stuff.
Yeah, it's not too late, eh? So I think when I watched her video, what happened was that she's studying journalism and she decided to just record a video because eventually everyone was home and she
Mhm.
posted it. and people got comment like, "Oh, this is great," and she posted another time, and it was by accident for you to see her eating chips in the video. So when someone saw that particular video, they were like, "Wow, this is great. Why don't you eat chips every time? And where's your chips? Where's your chips?" And she ended up eating chips every time in the
Where's the
video.
chips?
Yeah, so I think it's not too late. You probably would want to explore how you'd want to get that done. How would you consider yourself when it comes to teaching? Would you say that you get a bit nervous because most of your class maybe they might be a bit older or in terms of experience? How do you find that striking balance in being a teacher while in the class and as well keeping them active?
Mm, I think so. There is like structure to the lesson, right? My classes, we have 200, 220 students in the first year class. So they're in this huge auditorium. You have your PowerPoint slides. So there is like proper structure to it. So that's like the more formal part. And then what I try and do is I put in like memes in the middle of my slides. So then at least I can pause there, then we can discuss this meme and how it relates to the content. And
Hmm.
then they'll be like, ah, ha, ha, they didn't know that you know memes. And I'm like, I don't know how old you think I am. Because, we're all on the internet, so I don't know. But yeah.
Mm, that's great. That's a great balance in there. Try to keep them engaged and also pretty much excited on the run. So, have you had any disappointment in terms of your career or like education? What were some of the hard times you had to deal with? And I know you are a scholar, so you keep getting ahead, getting scholarships. But what were some of the challenges you had to battle with, or you still battle with? Hello, can you hear me? Hello, can you hear me?
Yeah, we
So
can
the
hear you.
network is, you can hear, okay. I think the network is acting up. I just hope she will get back on. I hope you guys are enjoying the session.
Yeah, yeah, we are.
Yeah, so let's just hope she gets back on. So you guys, if you have questions, just prepare. I would call you to ask her. She's very vibrant, and I think that energy is what most of us would need. Yeah, so I'm just waiting for her to join us back again. Maybe she should be in our class to share memes. I know we'll get a lot of memes on the Slack channel for next week. We could tell her to send us loads of memes for us to share. I hope that will be fun.
You're on mute. Okay.
Sorry. My connection failed. Yeah. I don't know if you asked me a question there at the end when it failed. Thank you. So maybe just to mention something casually that Arun sort of mentioned in his email. Wow, guys. Was sort of like how to be a change maker, which is a super like huge question. I wouldn't like consider myself a change maker in the traditional sense. Well, it's just like also a weird thing to be like, I am a change maker. But I wrote notes, just like 4 points on how to be a change maker, maybe. The first one is it's the courage. It's we are halfway through the session. Okay. It is to think different. I think that it's really, I think that actually I read this in a book somewhere, that there are people invested in the status quo as it is, right? Like not in a rude way, but like there are people that want corruption to continue because they benefit from corruption, right? So if you are trying to create change in that space, there will obviously be a bit of not a bit, there'll be a lot of resistance. So it takes, so you have to intentionally think different, like imagine new possibilities and how things can change and how you can bring about change and influence people and blah 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 blah, all that stuff. The other would be to the courage. I think like once you imagine this different possibility or whatever, there is a lot of courage in like being an outlier. There's a lot of courage in being like, okay, like in Namibia, for instance, some of the things people say is, no, you just don't like corruption because you're not eating yet. Like if you are also eating, you'd be fine with it. And I'm just like, I don't think so. Like maybe we have really different personalities, but it's just like, how do you just decide? So yeah, so it takes courage, I think, to like, if people are like going on about how much they can't wait to also chow the country's money, and then you're like, they're like, no, we'll be different and we will bring about development and we will selflessly work to build this country and stuff like that. So there's courage in that. There's also courage in starting a new venture, a new business, and let me create value and things like that. That's a bunch of courage. The other thing actually about being an outlier, wait, let me just double check on my notes. At the same time, at the same, while you want to be, while it's important to be an outlier and like to think different and whatnot, it's also important to have, for me anyways, because I am a community person, to have people that are outliers with me, like a community of outliers. So you guys can like, I don't know why I'm burping a lot. So you guys can all like support each other in your venture, in traveling the road less traveled and all this other different stuff. That, yeah, I find great solace in community. It's also the people that are there like giving you honest critique where you don't suspect that the critique is just coming from a place of let me bring you down, right? Because we're all on the same mission. It's just like, let me help you do it better. So like positive criticism. And also just like, so you guys can support each other and collaborate. And it's always good to know people that are doing other good things, I feel. Then you guys can like tie those good things together and make even greater things and stuff like that. That was the third one. Oh, the fourth one is really casual. It's just to not be lazy. Yeah. Because like I said, like creating change requires energy. Like you are fighting against a system. Like when you call some companies, receptionists are trained to say, no, he is not in, and no, and like to not answer their phones and stuff like that. Like just a bunch of frustrating stuff. So whether you have to rock up physically or whether you have to like just be there emailing every day. A friend of mine was trying to get like responses from a certain company, and then he wasn't getting them, so he just set up his email to like send the same email every hour, which was like intense, but they eventually responded because their inboxes were just getting overwhelmed. Yeah, stuff like that. It just takes energy. Some nights you're up, but you guys are familiar with this programming thing. How you guys are always up all night fixing one problem in your code, and then it's an account just like an exclamation mark / dollar sign that you forgot somewhere. Yeah, stuff like that. Oh, the other day, our municipality sent out an email, but I think they coded the email itself in HTML, but then they forgot to close the paragraph element. So we're just like, so it was funny because like they sent the email, and then you could just see like everyone that at least knows a little bit of programming is just screenshotting like, So anyways, whatever.
Well, I think this will be, yeah. Were you going to say something?
That's pretty much it. No, that's pretty much.
Okay. All right. So I was going to ask, who do you look up to? That'll be my last question. Then I'll open up for questions from the audience. We'll take about 4 questions, then we can wrap up. I know the conversation is really interesting. Who do you look up to?
A specific person. Like there are a lot of people that are very cool in life. One person. I think my is like a cousin, like an older cousin of mine. Yeah. Only for me, he modeled what it means to be different. And then he's also the person that when I was growing up and I thought I was weird and I was like just this awkward kid that was just weird. And yeah, anyways, he was the one that was like, like it's okay to be different type of thing. So I think that really gave me the confidence to be myself growing up. And then obviously like when you sort of become comfortable in that early on, then it doesn't matter later on when you're different. Then you're just like, oh yeah, but I am different. Like it's a fact. This is who I am. I don't know why you're saying this. Like this is news to anyone. Yeah. Okay. Yeah.
Great. So I think I'm still interested in knowing something. Do you fear failure as part of the process to developing to become who you ought to be? Do you fear failure at that point in time?
Wait, please say the last part again. Do I what, Hilja?
Do you fear failure? I mean, do you think that sometimes when you don't get what you get, you failed, or you think it's like a process, so you just carry on with it?
I mean, it happens, you know. I think there's no point in like being like overly, I don't want to say arrogant, but yeah, overly arrogant where you think you're never going to fail at anything. Like it happens. A thing that I've had to really work out, and I'm still working out, is speaking up to people that intimidate me. Like I had a negative experience in the workplace, and then it took me like forever to tell that person like, you can't treat people like this. And I didn't say it like that, you know, but yeah, that was like, so, and it felt like a failure initially because all the times that I worked myself up to have the conversation, I'll just say something vague and then like cut it, you know, like, yeah, like when you want to ask someone something and then you're just like, no, I was just wondering, I forgot, no, it's fine, I'll come talk to you later. Like I kept on doing that. And then each time when it happens, I'll feel like, man, like if you can't even speak up here in the workplace, where are you going to speak out there when you're like anywhere else? Like, yeah, so stuff like that. Okay, that's small, like not small, but that's more emotional failures, I suppose. Bigger failures would just be like, I don't know, like I apply for a lot of stuff, scholarships and whatnot. Often you don't get them. Sometimes you don't get, or I think I don't get them because my application just wasn't good enough. Just like it's a competitive world. And other times it's just you're not what they're looking for. Other times it's just you got 60% and the people want 70s. So, you know. And that's actually the thing that shook me about undergrad, because I didn't take it that seriously. Like I'm above average performer, not like I'm going to study all night. No. So I got like 65, I think, or 68. And then I'm applying for scholarships, and then like some of them are like, yeah, we want 75. And I'm just like, why didn't anyone tell me that like school is important in that way? I just didn't realize. So that was stressful.
So what was that your first time applying for Commonwealth, and did you apply for chevening?
Yeah.
Was this your first time?
Yes, it was my first time. So thankfully, after my undergrad, I did an honors degree, and then I got 70% on the dot. Oof. So I'm hoping to like try and cum laude this master's so that I can forget about that 68. So when I apply to like PhDs in the US or something, they'll just be like, oh, she has improved. Look at her. So that's what I'm hoping for. But I did apply for both. I think I have like a strong resume at this point. Like it competes well application wise. So I got both chevening and Commonwealth. Whoop, whoop. And then I had to pick one. And then I picked Commonwealth because chevening has like a post-award condition. I don't know if you've like read it. Where after 2
You have
years,
to come back after a year.
yeah, and then you have to be home for 2 years. And I was just like, what if I want to go do my PhD? So yeah, so then I picked Commonwealth.
Well, great. I mean, so now this is where the conversation is getting interesting, because our learners would like to know. Most of them are getting their skill to be job ready. Some of them will want to go back for postgraduate or whatever things they want to find doing. What did you think you did differently for your application to have made it for this too competitive scholarship? I mean, how did you do it? Because yeah, it's just strange. So if you can run us through some pointers, that would be a guide for us to take notes. That would be great.
So like what I picked up is that they want different things. Chevening is more about like leadership and like networking, and you need to clearly demonstrate that you are already the type of person that they're looking for. Excuse me. So you've already done, like even the questions you'll see, they'll ask like about leadership, and then you must like give like 2 to 3 examples where you've been a leader and where you've demonstrated what. And then similar with networking, already you should like take ownership. Like, and I don't know how other people write, but I'm just like, okay, you want to know if I've networked? Okay, cool. Well, how I networked is I went to that event where that person was going to be. I spoke to them. I made sure to ask a question so that I gained their attention. And then I emailed them afterwards. And then I had to remind them that I was the person that asked the question. And then from there, I built a relationship by doing this. Like, I explained stuff like that. So I think it gives like a clear indication, sort of. A cool methodology thing that I've come across is the STAR method. So you describe the situation, the task, i.e. what had to be done, which is like networking in that case, and then the actions you took, and then the results / outcomes. So I think that's also good in like just showing, because oftentimes you write like this great essay, but then it's sort of like, okay, but you did what exactly? Like, what is your role in this? Yeah, stuff like that. So chevening wants clear actions that you've done in your life, leadership, networking, future plans. I think a thing to maybe casually say is that they'll also be like, they want to be associated with you, right? They have a whole brand. It's like chevening scholars all around the world. And then so they want people that are going to be like prominent, I think. So in any indication that you're going to be this prominent person who will be associated with the brand chevening scholar, I think, yeah, you just position your thing in that way. Commonwealth, on the other end, is very like, these are the developing countries of the Commonwealth, and here's the development aspect and the SDGs, and this is going to impact the whole country by this. Like, if you're more of a I care about the people type of person, I think that those essays will be easier to write. And then I just tied them in with like statistics of like how the situation is at home, and then how do I plan to improve the situation at home, and like baseline figures, actions that I want to do, and then there's timelines. What do you expect to do in the short term, in the long term? Yeah, that.
Yeah, I mean, so for me, it's more like the way you say this. It sounds quite easier,
It
but
is.
would you would you say that your so at the time what did you get? Was it 1-1 or 2-1? What was your undergrad?
Oh, 2-1.
2-1. That's interesting. 2-1. Wow.
Yeah.
So were you hoping to get in when you realized you were selected? You had the interview. Were you expecting to have been selected with a 2-1?
No,
I know. Yeah. So
I
so
was.
meaning that you did something differently.
I definitely. I didn't. Okay. So, like I was saying before, how you're competing with a pool of people. I didn't know how competitive the pool would be. Um, like whether everyone would be 1-1, like people that got first class, what, or whether it would be like people like me, or whether it would be people. Yeah, I just wasn't sure of the pool that I was competing with. So university wise, so the thing anyways is that I wasn't gonna go study if I didn't get the scholarship. And then a lot of the people I spoke to said that they applied for the scholarship 2-3 times before they got it. So I was really fine. I was prepared to reapply next year. Then for schools, I was super scared. So I applied to like 5 schools. That was a lot of energy. Wow. Um, yeah, that was. So generally, how I feel about scholarships is it's just a lot of energy, like with the writing of the essays, the writing of the, oof, like I had like a whole Word document where I was just like Chevening essay, question 1, Chevening
Yeah.
essay, question 2,
Yeah.
Commonwealth essay, question 1, University of London, question 1. Like I was just like, and then like after you've written a couple, you can copy and paste some sections and then make them feel like this is the one for me. It's like those people, not in a rude way, but those people, they just want to feel special. They just want to feel like, oh my gosh, she's really dying to come study at our university. Yeah. There was a question in the from Emmanuel, I think.
Yeah. So that he wanted to know why you turned down the role as an analyst, or what gave you the courage to.
I
Did
wouldn't
you
even say
mention
that
that?
was courageous, hey. If anything, I feel like that was more fear because I had just gotten. So remember, I was volunteering at the university for a while, and then they offered me my contract, and then I get the 10 Academy internship thing, analyst thing, and then I'm like, okay, what are these people gonna say if I've been volunteering the whole time and I've been like not begging them for a contract, but like trying to get a contract, and then when I finally get it, I turn it down, and then yeah, so it was more like a guilt thing. And then also my parents also like, yeah, this is a full-time permanent position, how can you just turn it down for a 1-year internship in another country? What about when you come back? So I wouldn't say that was a courageous decision. I mean, not to say I wouldn't do the same, because this university experience has been really good for me. It's like opened my mind to the world of science in Namibia in general. But yeah, I wouldn't say it was courageous. If anything, I'd say it was more like fear, nervousness about the future. And also, it was my first
Yeah.
job. Ugh, to be young.
You weren't ready to. All right, so we'll take 2 questions since we ran out of time. So if you're ready to talk, just unmute your microphone and ask your question, so Hilja can address it. All right.
Feel free to type it.
So for the long haul, I'm sure you see yourself becoming a professor one day.
Yes, yes, but um, like in the future, like maybe when I'm like 45 or something. Yeah. Academia can be very routine, I've realized. Like the only thing, okay, I was gonna say, I don't know if I should say this, but like none of you guys know my students, so it should be fine, I think. The only thing that's interesting about academia after you've done it for a while, because you're reteaching the same thing every year, right? It's just the students. because you get a new batch of students every year, and they're interesting and fun, and they make new jokes, and they're like, but other than that, nothing much changes. So yeah, I'm not gonna stay here for a long time. Emmanuel's question. I thought you got the internship before the job with the university. No, like it was like almost the same time. If anything, I think I got the university one first, and then I was sitting with it, and then I did the interview. They're along the same time, yeah. But I think I had the university one first because that's the one I told my parents about first. Yes. So I had it, and then I was gonna have to be like, "Thank you for this contract. You can have it back." Yeah. But imagine, I could be like living my best life in Germany now, maybe.
But it's all good. I think you have a long way to go, and you've got things sorted out for you. And this is definitely going to work out. Your 1 year study in the UK, I mean, doing the online learning now, and then probably going to go there later on, will open up some more opportunities to you. I'm sure we would like to stay in touch with you. Are you available on LinkedIn? How do we stay in touch? And in case anyone wants to reach out for tips on how to prepare their applications for chevening or any of their scholarships, how would you like to help?
Yeah, I'm willing to like proofread stuff. Chevening is actually open right now in case you guys are. Oh, actually, the thing about, I think you mentioned something about she accepted my LinkedIn. Mosala. Something to wait. I was typing my email address, but then I got distracted. Something to keep in mind is also about like when you plan out your own career, then you realize like, do I need to study? Is a master's really valuable to me right now? Is it valuable to my industry? Which master's should I be doing? Should I be doing like a super specialized one, or should I be doing a more general one that makes me more attractive to like more opportunities or to the industry in general? Like a lot of engineers end up doing like project management masters. Yeah, like
That's true. That's
stuff
true.
like that. A lot of people like end up doing like public health, then they'll do an MBA, and then you're just like, okay. Depending on whether you end up in government for a couple of years, you might do like one of these public policy masters. But then that's if you are working in an environment where either you plan to learn specific skills in your masters, which I plan to do, or the credentials of the masters are super valuable for you, like if you're in academia, so like the masters helps you level up professionally, or it's just like clout, like if you work, I don't know where they're just like, we don't recognize people, like in science people don't recognize people without PhDs. Not they don't recognize, but they're very like, what, you don't have a PhD? So then in which case it's valuable for your career to get a degree. But for other things, you can just be there winning with your skills. Like you're just like, I have a ton of, you don't like, fine, you can even have like EDX, Coursera, what. But you can just be like, I have the skills, here's my portfolio of work. And I think that works especially for like data science programming people, because you're just like, here's my Git. It is Git, right?
Yeah. GitHub,
GitHub, yeah. You're just like, here's my GitHub. And then they just look at everything you've done, and then based on that, you're good. So, yeah. Okay, I'm typing my email address.
So you can type your email address and then your LinkedIn, your full name, then we could stay in touch with you. It's been a pleasure having you join us. I think we would love to have you back again. You were so lively and lovely. That's why your students would love to be in your class. And we would like to wish you a very good time studying. You are a great ambassador of the Academy, and we would love for you to spread the good news anywhere you go. We look forward to having you back again. So that's your name on LinkedIn?
Yes. I'm typing. I'm also typing my Twitter because I say a lot of silly things on there, so that's fun. Yeah, who else have you guys had from the 10 Academy Fellows?
Who else? Okay, we've had a couple of them. Samson Adute, He
Okay.
spoke to us.
That's
Sure you remember
fun.
something. Yeah, we've had
Have
the
you guys
start.
had Emmanuel
Yeah,
yet?
Emmanuel, maybe soon. We have Jean. Jean,
Yeah,
I
yeah.
don't
John
know
is
if you remember
within.
Jean.
He's
Yeah.
within 10 Academy. So that's cool.
Yeah, great. Sure. So I would like to take much of your time. So this has been a great time, and I look forward to connecting and learning more about your journey as well. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much for having me, guys. I hope this was useful and stuff like that. Take care.
Take care too, and be good. Stay in touch. So let's see.